Hi friends, welcome back to Acting Like an Actor. I'm your host, Sophie Jordan Collins, and this week we have on another vertical star, Kirby Ellwood. Kirby has amassed millions of views on her shows like Straight A Pregnancy, Flash Vows, and more. But prior to this, and in the midst of, Kirby has worked on a ton of feature films, commercials, and modeled for huge brands like Wet n Wild. Kirby has a ton of experience both in front of as well as behind the camera. We chat all things day jobs for actors, the power of connections in our industry, and how you can make connections that last. We also talk about how to approach your career as a business and take big risks. Without further ado, here's Kirby.
Are you rich?
Are you famous?
What have you been on?
I don't really recognize you, and neither does my mom.
Can you laugh?
Can you cry on command?
I mean, you said you were an actor, man.
What's your backup plan? Is it shattered?
Dude, I'm just acting like an actor.
Insane. Like, I'm working for the next 3 weeks starting on the 12th.
Wow.
Like 3 weeks straight.
Okay, this is funny. I wanted to say this on the podcast too. Last week I'm texting Kirby and she's like, I have nothing lined up. I'm super free right now, a week ago. And now you just said you have 3 projects lined up.
I have 2 projects lined up.
Okay.
You never know what's going to happen. Like, actually, this happened last year, is I booked something. Casting sent me a, congratulations, you booked this role. And I was actually really excited about it because I thought it was going to be really fun. And then the next day they emailed me and were like, actually, client wanted to go with someone else after I'd already booked it.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of heartbroken. That was the first time I've ever been, let down like that.
Yeah.
Because, you're so used to rejection after not getting auditions.
Of course.
Or not getting auditions,
Not
but
booking.
not booking.
Yeah, like you just send it into the ether and whatever.
Yeah, and it's fine. I feel
Yeah.
like I've gotten so used to that part of it, but booking something and then them like ripping it away from you is such a...
It's the client though, and it's for silly reasons. So like,
Yeah.
I can always, I don't know, with these verticals I can make myself feel better about it because I'm like, it's always just the client overseas.
And there will always be another one.
It's true, that too. I booked one last year, and I usually play like the antagonist or the best friend is what I try to stick to, but this was a lead and I did the fitting, and then after the fitting the client decided I was too tall. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because like male lead was like 5'8".
How tall are you?
5'8", so we were like kind of the same, and if you put me in heels I was like taller, but also like you guys knew my height. I said it in the slate, but I think they just like didn't, I don't know, compute that, so we did the full fitting and everything, and then they
I don't know, that's kind of cute. Like,
yeah, it's fine.
Watch them come up with another one called like I'm in love with my short man or something.
Right, literally, I know, that could be a whole storyline right there.
Hey, that's a whole thing. Like, that's a good.
We're onto something.
You're onto something there.
Did you ever write one? I don't know if I've asked you that.
Oh, I do have a really wonderful idea for one that I would love to write at some point.
Yeah,
I'm not going to divulge the secrets.
of course.
But I'm just not much of a writer. I've never considered myself a writer. I don't write. But I would love to sit down with somebody and possibly write something.
Yeah.
Because I'm more of like a idea.
No, and that's the fun of writing, I feel like, too. I always thought I didn't like writing, too, until I did like an acting class where we like all wrote something together, like wrote a sitcom together, and you can bounce ideas, and I was like, oh, a writer's room would actually be pretty fun.
See, I would like to do something like that where maybe we have like 3 people and we're just sitting there bouncing ideas off of each other.
Yeah.
Because that's the fun part. I don't like because I'll get stuck in my head.
Me too.
Because I kind of have to be like a doer and like I gotta go do things. Like even when, this is such like a sidetrack, but like even when we're blocking out scenes and the director like tells me everything that's gonna happen in the scene, I'm like, okay, can I walk through it?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know anything you said until I've stood there and done
Yeah.
the thing, which is great because then once I get it, I'm like, okay, got it, let's do it. But
yeah. You learn by doing. That's good that you know that about yourself, too.
in the verticals, you learn so much about yourself and how you work and what you need to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and you have to figure it out kind of quickly, although I feel like I've been developing my process over these, which has been really cool. Like, I'm definitely the girl who has my script Bible in like this beautiful note.
I can attest.
It's beautiful. I'm quite proud of it actually, because it's in this beautiful like kind of like, is it like floppy binder almost? And then I added a new thing where I have like a pencil pouch in the front, so I have all my highlighters and my sticky tabs, and it's all color coordinated for each day, which sometimes doesn't work because then they're adding the scenes last minute. But
always, or changing the order or whatever.
Yeah, but it just like helps me stay organized because you never know what's going to be happening. And then also, I don't like the digital part because, well, then we'll do a scene and I'm like, okay, where in the script is this? But if I have a visual representation of where we are, I'm like, okay, we're towards the end.
Yes.
Okay, we're towards the beginning.
Yeah.
This is how I'm supposed to feel about this character, just based on the placement of where my tab is in the book, which is really nice.
Yeah, it makes it quick and seamless. Okay, Kirby, so we've established you're a vertical actress. I'm sure we have some fangirlies here, but I would love for you to tell me how you kind of fell into the world of acting, even before these verticals. When did you start? All of that stuff.
Yeah, I was actually a really shy kid growing up, and I dabbled a little bit in high school. I had a boyfriend kind of make me audition for something, and then
In high school?
In high school. And I booked a scene in this play, and I was like so nervous about it. I ended up doing it, and it ended up being fun, and it was fine, and then in college is when it really kind of like set in for me. I was in college and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I changed my major like 7 times, from like interior design, architecture, molecular and cellular biology to integrative studies, and I was like kind of really all over the place. And it was 2 weeks into the semester, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I was like, I liked that acting experience I had that one time. Maybe I should go take an acting class. So I took an acting class called Acting 101 2 weeks into the semester, and I just like fell in love with it. And I was like, is this like the thing I want to do for the rest of my life? And my professor, she was a grad student, and she had this directing class, and she actually cast me in it. And it was me and this other guy in our class, and it was so beautiful. It was called The Blue Room, and it was about this sailor and this woman and their love and how he died at sea, and then she kind of like kills herself to be with him, and then they walk off together. But you don't know that. That's just like the subcontext of what's going on. And it was so beautiful and magical, and it was just me a lot of the time on stage, just like being in this character, and I was like, I love it. I love it. It's so fun. You get to express things that you wouldn't normally get to express and feel these like wonderful things, and I was like, I think this is really it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I booked a short film that semester too, and it just kind of like all led into place, and I did a bunch of short films in college and afterwards, and then I started taking acting classes with Jessica Morris Hood in Cleveland, because I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and I did Meisner and improv and commercial classes, and just fell in love with it more and more. Of course it was hard, and you know you're learning so much, but I think she just really taught me, Jessica just really taught me to like, okay, so the hardest thing I had when I was first acting was I always thought that being a good actor meant you could cry.
Yeah.
Like on command. And yeah, that's part of it, but I thought that once I could do that, I would be the best actor like ever in the world.
I think a lot of people think that. I even think like a lot of like normies, people who don't act, or like just assume that good acting means you can cry in command, but anyway.
Yeah, but it's a part of it, and it definitely helps, but it's more about being in tune with your emotions. And honestly, anger for me is the hardest emotion to get to, because I'm so I never want to be mad and angry.
Yeah.
So that's actually for me a harder emotion to get to than crying.
Yeah. I could see that for you. I'm similar, where I've always fought off anger, and I almost make it into sadness. Like I run away from it so much in my normal life, where when I get angry, I like push it away because I'm so scared of that emotion that I usually so I totally understand that. And you're right, that's kind of a hard and a beautiful thing about acting, is when you're playing somebody who's different from you, and who maybe does express anger in a different way. So getting to that place.
And a lot of these vertical characters are angry.
They are, yeah. Yeah. And again, like, you can fall into the classic, like, theater actory trap of, like, oh, I'm angry, like, I'm just gonna yell, and it's, like, portraying it in a different way. But...
And letting the anger come out of you because of... And it's always, anger isn't anger. Anger is hurt. Anger is sad. Anger is other things, and so you're projecting your feelings onto another person by trying to make them feel what you're feeling.
I love that. That was a soundbite right there. Okay, we kind of jumped in on our intro here, but I do want to ask you my usual intro question.
Okay.
Because this is always gives the audience, like, a good view of you. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Ooh. Just try. Just start. Just do something. Because if you haven't noticed, I could be a little bit of a perfectionist. And so I think I never really wanted to do things until they were perfect. But nothing is ever going to be perfect. And that was kind of a hard lesson that I've learned over the years. And so once you do try something, it's like trials and tribulation, you know, like you're like, okay, well, that didn't work, but this next thing, I'm going to try this. And even if that doesn't work, you're always learning and trying new things to make yourself better. And so I think just trying things.
Yeah, imperfect action. I love that too, because I think so much trying to figure out everything holds us back, but you're never going to figure out everything anyway, so you need to just dive in, and problems will come up and you figure them out as you go.
That's life.
I do want to ask you though, because I feel like since I've known you, I feel like you've been good with action. Like, you are very much a doer, and I don't know if you've worked on it over the years, but I know that you've taken some risks and some investments in your acting career and things like that, which a lot of actors are kind of scared to take those leaps and put their money where their mouth is and put their time and energy into one thing. And so I'm curious, how do you know when it's the right time to take one of those risks or make one of those investments on yourself?
Well, I feel like acting is like your business, right? That's what they always say. And when you're thinking about business, they're always like, you always reinvest. You always reinvest and reinvest. And if acting's my business, then I'm reinvesting in myself. So, I mean, obviously taking risks is scary, but I think when something scares you, that's a good indicator to really lean into it. And I mean, I'm still working on this, because even I'm still trying to lean into things that scare me. So even on scripts, like a lot of the times now on vertical scripts, I won't read the script before I say yes.
Oh.
Because I don't want the reason I say no to be because I read something that was scary. So then already accepting the job and knowing that I'm going to do something that's going to push me out of my comfort zone is exciting for me, and I know I'm going to grow from it. But even just regular risks in your career, like let's say you want to spend a lot of money on like really expensive headshots, but you're not sure if they're gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's also doing the research to, like, okay, so for headshots, if we're gonna talk about headshots for a second, I just got headshots, and I have gotten a lot of headshots over the years, and I spent a lot of money on headshots, and I actually spent money on headshots that I did not like recently, and I will not use, which was really upsetting and disappointing. But I think it's because I didn't know what I wanted, and so I ended up having to go with a new photographer. But it's because I ended up researching that photographer like really well, and I'm like, what can they get me, and what do I want, and does that align, you know? So I think it's just take the risk, but do the research.
I like that. Yeah, be intentional and like make sure you're doing what feels right, but don't be afraid to jump in and lean into that. And I also liked what you said too about acting being a business and being willing to reinvest in yourself, because I think sometimes as actors, and I totally understand, we try to find like the cheap way out of things, but then you're right, you end up getting a bunch of bad headshot sessions before you finally get a good one, whereas if you just spent the money up front, you could have saved yourself the headaches. So.
And also probably money.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'd gone with the original photographer that I wanted to do, I would have saved like $700. You know?
You live and you learn.
You live and you learn every time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Do what you want to do originally if that's the thought, but then again, you also don't have to spend a lot of money to get good headshots, I don't think. Like, if you know the photographer and you can... It's just one of those things. It's just like planning properly and knowing what you want.
Yeah. Yep. Literally like having, you know, the outfit choices in your mind, knowing like, okay, this is like probably my girl next door headshot. Okay, this is like you want to have like...
The character in mind too.
Yeah,
and also
exactly.
how you want to do your makeup and how you want to do your hair.
Yeah.
Because everything informs... Like, so this is the best headshot session I've ever had in my entire life. This last one I did. And we ended up doing 5 looks because I don't look anything like how I used to look. Like, I have darker hair. I lost a little bit of weight. My skin has cleared up. My face, I'm getting older. Like, we always get older. So our face
shape.
just changes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really needed to just across the board get new stuff. And I also realized in that headshot session that pictures are worth so much. It's what you have. It's the only thing you really have as an actor to really represent you, because you know in this social media age everyone's just like no, and it's like, okay, but what's that one picture? Like, what can you do to make you stand out in a world of no's? Like, what's that one little thing that makes you slightly different? Maybe it's just like how you're posed.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't normally do that in a headshot, and you're just like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's more modelly, or maybe it's more quirky, or like finding out what's unique to you to make you stand out. Because I think there's so many actors and there's so many looks and there's so many like people, and finding the details that make you also you, because you don't want to just like copy people. You want to be your own unique individual self, because at the end of the day, for acting, that's what you're selling, because no one's going to do it like you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's your power as an actor. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like I just went on a tangent of not the question that you asked.
No, I love that. That was good. No, you did. You did answer it. That was good.
Also, I love this this cola.
Good, I know.
It's so good.
Cherry cola, it's a new Celsius flavor, guys.
Yeah, Celsius, can you also sponsor me? Because I drink so many of these, and I would be great. Just saying.
She does drink a lot.
Like every day. I couldn't tell you. Wait, this is so bad. I couldn't tell you the last day I didn't have a Celsius. I've had one every day.
One a day. That's good. 1 or 2 a day?
No, not 2. Just 1.
That's good.
Yeah. Because I'll usually do half. I'll do half in the morning, and then half at lunch.
No, I think that's good. Healthy balance. What is something that has surprised you about being an actor?
That's a really good question. I mean, all of it. I don't think when you say you want to be an actor and you want to get into like the industry, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you have no idea what it actually means to be an actor. You don't know that you're going to be waking up at 5:30 one day and then 11 the next.
Working overnight the next.
You're meeting so many different people, just connecting, and you're doing so many different things, and you don't realize how much dialogue you're going to be memorizing. You don't realize you're going to be doing things that make you uncomfortable. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you do know all these things, but I don't think I did. I think I just fell in love with, like, the emotions and the characters, and then getting on set, you're like, oh, there's, like, a whole nother world. Like, there's costumes, and there's hair and makeup, and then you also have to be quick at changing, and then you can't touch your face, you can't touch your hair. Like, there's so many things you're, like, really not in control of. And then knowing how to act with a camera too, because when you first start out, you're just kind of like, I'm here on this stage or however you started, and then you're like, oh wait, no, I have to act just this way, slightly, so that I don't cover my co-star, because it's not all about you. Like, it's like we're working together as a team to make this all come together, and if you're not good at hitting your marks, you just ruined that entire take.
You lost the game.
You lost the game.
No, I love that. I know there are so many more moving parts than I feel like you think of when going into the business.
Yeah. And even this is like, you want to do this, like, okay, let's say we're in like a romantic scene, and I'm like, I just want to like, you know, grab your chest, and like, they're like, sound guys like, hey, can you like not touch him right there, because that's where I put his mic. And I'm like, oh, shoot, that happens to me all the time. Or like, I start doing this, and I'm like how could, like, blah, 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 whatever's happening, and then sound guy's still like, hey, your mic's there, please don't touch it. I'm like, so you have to like adjust and find new ways to do what you wanted to do.
Yeah, to motivate the weird things they're asking you to do sometimes. Yeah, or like tilt your head this way so you hit the light, or like do this. Yeah, you have to motivate it.
And they're always like, find your. There's just so many moving parts that actors are thinking about. It is find your light, don't touch your mic, and like still connect with your partner while also probably being slightly away, so that you're not covering them.
And vertical framing makes it 3 times as hard as like horizontal framing too, in terms of hitting your marks and stuff.
Yeah, because you really have to be on it.
You do.
Because
and a little micro shift makes a big difference.
Oh, 100%. Sometimes we've been on set and they're like, okay, you're not in frame. You're in frame. You're not in frame. But we want you right here. And I'm like, I haven't even moved. You know? It happens to me all the time. Or I've seen it happen a lot. I'm sorry. Speaking of spatial awareness.
Wake up the listener. Something I found fascinating about Kirby is she was working a lot of like crew positions before you were acting full time. Can you talk to us a little bit about like your random odd jobs and stuff before you started acting full time?
Yeah, I was actually a PA for 2 years. So I did that full time. Like, I was a full-time freelancer before I got into acting full time, and I think I just learned how to be on set, and I learned a lot about the moving parts and everybody's job position. Because, like, I had no idea what a producer was for the longest time. I was like, oh, they're important, but I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what their job is. And then I think it made me more of a well-rounded actor, because I'm just more aware of what everybody's positions and what everyone is doing on set. And I love that. And I made so many connections too. Like, I met so many wonderful people who I'm actually working with now as an actor. Like, I was their PA, and now I'm on set with them, or they're directors that I knew that hired me as a PA, and they're like, listen, we've got this really exciting project come up. I'm so excited about this. I have 3 directors that I've worked with. 2 of them one of them as a PA, and he's like a really, really accomplished director. Like, he had a movie come out recently, and it's had like 104 like awards in the indie market. It's like doing really, really well. But for his next feature, he actually told me, he's like, I'm gonna try and write you a role in it, because like, you're amazing and I love you, and like, I would love to actually like work with you. But we started out as like, I was his PA for all of his projects, and so now we're like moving our relationship into like working together as actor and director, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Everything is connected in LA, and it's such a small industry, and
everything is connected. I've also kind of realized recently that I think the connections that I make in this industry are actually going to get me farther than auditioning for casting directors ever will. Because, I mean, we've been going to like events and stuff, and I've met so many amazing, talented people going to those events that also, they're like, you're an actor? You're a working actor? Great, I have a script. Can I send it to you? Because I'm like working on developing this, and like, so I feel like by going to events, you're actually more likely to be in people's minds for when projects and stuff come up. And because I've been working so much and posting so much, this is really exciting. My old acting teacher, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, I won't say details or anything.
Okay.
But he wants me to do a table reading for his pilot. So I'm doing that tomorrow. Yeah, it's just a really small role, but the fact that he thought of me to play this role in this TV show is like really exciting. So it's like, and that's another thing is like, I feel like social media, as much as I don't really like doing the whole social media thing, like at this moment, I'm really trying to get better at it, but it's not something that's easy for me because it's more of an afterthought. I try to be more in the moment, enjoy life, but I also realize how important it is, especially for, stuff like that. Like, I don't think my acting teacher would have reached out to me if he hadn't seen me constantly on social media, booking and working and doing all of these things. So it's a necessary evil, but it's also so wonderful too to like watch all your friends and like connect with people.
There are pros and cons. You just have to use it properly and like figure out what that is for yourself. I always have to keep a time limit on mine, so even when I hit the 15 minutes, it like notifies me so I can be aware of it.
That's so smart. I should do that.
Little things like that. But I also loved what you were saying too. So it sounds to me like a lot of your opportunities that have come from building relationships, but then also keeping yourself like front of mind by going to events and then also social media. So it starts with that building the relationships, but then you also have to keep up with that and put in the effort to keep yourself at the front of people's minds.
100%. I mean, I feel like in this industry you meet so many people. Oh, that one, tell me, did you hear it?
I heard it.
I feel like in this industry you meet so many people, but it's also about finding the people that you like and you want to work with. Because at the end of the day, those are the people that you are going to create the best things with because you're excited and happy and having fun. Because if you're on a set where you're not happy or things are not going right and you're just kind of stressed, depending on the project, some projects, it probably creates great art, but it's also not a set that I want to be working on. I don't necessarily want to just suffer for art. I think it should be something fun and collaborative. And sometimes we do put ourselves through stuff for the art, and I'm not saying not to, but why make it more difficult than it has to be? Like, it's very much about finding your tribe in LA and finding the people that you're gonna stick to like glue.
It's so true, and even when you look at the big filmmakers, big directors, big actors, they all work with the same people over and over and over again because when you find your creative circle, it's it's such a beautiful thing. And I think too, even when you're portraying vulnerable stuff, if you're comfortable, it's that much more easy to do it.
100%. Because you know that, like, your director has you.
Yeah.
Like, because when I do things sometimes, I don't know what it's going to look like. Because I don't have eyes on it. I'm feeling it, and it may feel good, but then the director will be like, but it's not giving that emotion that we're going for, and I need you to do it this way. And having that trust with the director is so important. Knowing that they have your back, because at the end of the day, they want to make you look good, too. But sometimes I feel like you can also work with directors who are more, how do I say this? They're more interested in making it look good, not making you look good.
Especially for these vertical projects, I think, too. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you only get one take. So if you know you're going to have one take, I feel like it's really important to talk to the director and be like, okay, tell me all the beats that are really important that you really want me to hit in this one take, because this is literally all we have.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're working with a good director, they'll really steer you in the right direction and make sure that we get what we want.
Yeah. Okay, I would love I don't remember the full details of this story, but she told me a really cute story when we were in China about like a PA who had then brought you onto a project. Can you tell that whole story? Do you know what I'm talking
Okay,
about?
yeah. So I was working on a vertical, of course, and it was the end of the day, and the PA had to drive me back to my car. And so we were just walking, talking. It was actually the first time that I had talked to her. And so we were chit-chatting. I was like, oh, how's your day? Da, da, da. She's like, I'm really tired. I was like, I get it. It's been like a really long day. Like, so we were just chit-chatting. And we get about halfway back to my car. And it's a really short drive. Like, it's not long at all. Maybe like 5-7 minutes. And she goes, I like you. You're really nice. Like, I'm actually producing a project in China. And, like, I think you would be great for that. And I was like, oh, okay, great. She was like, I'm just doing this for, like, I just wanted experience on this side of it, and I just wanted to see what everything works on the other side of it. But I'm going to send you the sides, and I'd love for you to audition. And I ended up booking that.
Was that the project we did together in China? That was
Yeah.
how you got it? Okay, that's how it came up, yeah.
Yeah.
I just love that story because, like, Kirby built a connection with a PA on set, and then that ended up leading to her booking a project and getting to go out to China and we had such a great experience and such a fun time on that set.
So fun.
And again, it goes back to the building relationships and one thing leading to another. And I think too, I feel like your crew experience probably makes you realize too, like you just have probably so much more empathy for all the jobs on set too. Like you understand what everybody's going through and how it's, you know.
Yeah, it's a hard job for every department.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anything's easy about being on set at all. And it also goes to show that, like, it's so important to be nice to people because you don't know what they're going through, you don't know what happened, and if all you can offer anybody on set is just a smile and I hope you're doing okay today, like, that goes so far because it makes people be like, I may be having a bad day, but at least I have this, like, positive ray of sunshine trying to make sure that, like, we all have fun together.
Yeah.
And that's what I always try to do on set, too, is because I just want everyone to have fun and put their best foot forward. And so I always try to be that, like, happy ray of sunshine and light on set because, I don't know, I think it just makes everything better and more fun. And I want to create a positive environment, especially if I'm number one on the call sheet. Like, you actually set the mood for the set. You set the entire mood for the set and how everything is going to be going because everyone's looking to you. Everyone's making sure that you're doing your best work. And so the least I can do is make sure that they're happy doing their work.
Yeah.
As much as I can.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that, and I think you emulate that so beautifully. We're coming to a close here, and
No.
I always end with Fast Frisky 5, but before we jump into that, I would love for you to just say a piece of advice for new actors. Like if you could tell them one thing, what would it be?
I think that it goes back to the same thing I kind of said earlier, is just like start, just go out and do it.
Yeah.
Because I know I've known a few people who are like, well, I'm not ready, and I'm like, you're never gonna be ready. You're never ever gonna be ready. It's just sometimes you gotta throw yourselves to the wolves and do it.
Yeah, figure it out as you go.
Figure it out as you go, because everyone is just figuring it out as they go. As much as it seems like people have it all together and they're like, oh my god, I totally know what I'm gonna do, and this is happening, but I'm like, everyone's just trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So just jump in and try and figure it out.
Yep, I love that. And it's so true, everybody's path is different too, so even when people try to tell you like how to become an actor as if they know the way, there is no way.
There is no way.
Everyone.
Everyone does it differently.
Mm-hmm. Alright, are you ready for Fast Frisky 5?
Okay, I'm ready.
Favorite quote?
It's the little things in life.
Love that. Something everyone should watch.
Severance.
Pickles, yay or nay?
Oh, yay. Yay.
Favorite thing to do in LA?
I went to Disney yesterday, so it's in Anaheim, but it's in LA.
Yeah, close-ish. Recent obsession.
These protein smoothies that I've been drinking every morning.
Okay, you make it yourself?
I do make
What's
it
in
myself. Okay. It's like plant protein, and then I have like collagen, and then I've been adding greens and fruit. A probiotic yogurt,
Okay, this is everything.
and is that it? Oh, almond milk.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, any final words?
Love you.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.